Week 11 in college football. Let's start in a rainy Oxford, Mississippi. Whoa.
Wow.
28-10. Ole Miss, dare I say, bullies Georgia. We
I mean, from
watched pretty much this entire football game together, Ted, up in the booth there in Columbia.
it's a beatdown.
Nothing fluky about it. Ole Miss controlled this game at the line of scrimmage. That defense for them, they were awesome. Georgia had 245 yards of offense. I think they forced 4 fumbles, got a couple fourth down stops, picked off Carson Beck. That Ole Miss defense was flying around, physical, and they whooped Georgia.
Yeah,
Whooped
it
them.
was it was impressive. I mean, it was I like to look at it sometimes as um if you didn't know anything about football, like, and you just popped in to watch that game, you didn't know Georgia's history, you don't know Ole Miss's history. It's clear who the better football team is. You know, like if you don't carry knowing how good Georgia's been over the last 5, 6 years, if you don't carry that in, you look at that game and say, this is a beatdown. This Ole Miss team, this Georgia team, they're not on the same level as this Ole Miss crew, which that is saying something because I know that Ole Miss put together, talking about a war chest, they had a war chest and they put together a roster, but it's not like Georgia doesn't have a fantastic roster themselves. I mean, that is a talented football team.
It looked like Ole Miss just went to a level that Georgia couldn't match, which is
Hey,
kind of crazy to say out loud. I expected the Georgia that showed up in Austin to show up in Oxford. And early, it looked like I was going to be correct. That was a nightmare of a start for Ole Miss. What, Dart gets picked off, Andy's hurt. But credit to Ole Miss, man. They took it to another level. They went out there and they pushed Georgia around, which over these last several years, you don't say that very often, man. That was impressive. And credit to Lane Kiffin. Massive football game. And his team was ready to roll. I thought that that was a hell of a performance from Ole Miss.
hey, OU, we put up 329 on Ole Miss. We're better than Georgia, right? No.
Pretty sure that's how that works.
And they had it firing on all cylinders. Their defense was all over Georgia's offensive line, all over Carson Beck in the pocket, stuff in the running game, out hitting them. They were the more physical team. Offensively, they were running the ball. Bentley was going off. They were giving him the ball in the passing game, in the running game. He had a great performance. And then their kicker steps in, and what was it? Was that a 56 yarder he kicked over the upright?
53.
53.
You and I were watching it going, did you see where that ball just went? That was good
Crazy.
from 70.
It was, I've never seen that before. That
Caden
was
Davis
wild.
he hit 5 field goals. And I'm sure that Lane Kiffin isn't pleased that they settled for so many field goals, but that dude has a cannon attached to his leg. And
Yep.
I thought it was interesting. I thought Kiffin made some good calls in this game where normally he's ultra aggressive in some of those fourth down situations. And I think he took a step back and recognized how his defense was playing
Got a
and said, you know
defense.
what? Let's kick the field goal. Let's be a little conservative. I thought there were several moments in that first half where he went, you know what? Defense is playing lights out. Let's just kick the field goal. Let's get points and let's lean on this defense. And ultimately, those were smart decisions from Lane Kiffin.
Has anyone's stock dropped more than Carson Beck's from one year to the next?
No, I can't recall a guy legitimately being in the conversation for going number one overall, and then all of us being like, "Hey, are we sure this guy's an NFL player?" Like, and maybe that's a little dramatic, but yes, he has. I think it's fair to say his stock has plummeted.
Man,
And
he has.
to his defense, Ted, their left tackle could not block Emmanuel. He couldn't block Perkins. Like that guy was getting worked all game long.
Yeah, how's that feel? How's that feel at quarterback? He has thrown 2, 5, 8. He's thrown 9 interceptions in the last 4 games.
That's a lot.
5 touchdowns to 9 interceptions.
I think the only thing that went wrong for Ole Miss in this game was the premature field storming.
Ah,
You got to
yes.
wait it out, students. Come on. Did you see Kiffin after the game? He turned
Uh,
was like, "Does that mean we get fined twice?" Pretty funny.
that's good.
I A massive win for Ole Miss, and if they play like that, and remember Jackson Dart was hurt, like he didn't factor into the run game at all, really,
Right. Yeah.
because
Well,
of
whenever he went out, the lefty came in and I think took him down the field, scored a touchdown, didn't they?
correct tied the
Yeah.
game at 7.
That was
I
big.
I think they feel good about him moving forward, but Georgia, I mean, they got handled, and
It's
this is we talked about it before this season started. This may just be life in the SEC from now on, where everyone loses 2, 3 games, and you have to view it more through an NFL lens, where 9-3 is a hell of a year.
yeah.
Ten
Everyone's
and two is an
margins.
incredible year.
Yeah. The it's everyone's margins are way thinner. Um, everyone's way closer together. The schedules, for the most part, are way closer. I mean, Georgia and Alabama are playing the most difficult schedules they've played in a long time, and it's showing. On top of the fact that because of the transfer portal, they don't have the massive talent advantage over everyone else. They still have the advantage, but it's not near. I mean, some of their second team guys have moved on, and there's just been this movement of players to where it's a lot closer than it's been, and I it's very telling whenever the story in a lot of these games is what Georgia are we going to get? What Ole Miss are we going to get? Previously, it didn't matter what Georgia you were going to get, right? The margin was just so extreme that they were going to, if they showed up and played bad, they won by 10, But now it's if you show up and you turn the football over on the road, you're going to lose. And they turned it over, what, 4 times?
And got smacked.
Got smacked.
Got field goal to death.
Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Ole Miss, all of a sudden, you have to look at them and go, hey, would it shock me if they were playing in a national title game? I wouldn't shock me.
Bye week at Florida,
Win.
in the game at home against Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl.
Win
2 games
and
left.
win.
That's how
Won't
I would
have
see
to
it.
play. Will they have to play in an SEC championship game? There
Current
is a incredible logjam at the top of the SEC.
Tennessee, A&M, and Texas, all with 1 loss right now at the top of the standings. Georgia, Ole Miss, Bama, Missouri, LSU with 2 losses. So
Tennessee's got Georgia in Athens on Saturday.
Tennessee's got Georgia,
And A&M and Texas both play each other.
right?
Last game of the year. So someone's taking a second loss there.
You said before the season started that you thought there would be a two-loss team playing in the SEC championship, and it's starting to look like that's going to be the case. It's not a guarantee, but it's shaping up in that direction. I mean, if Tennessee and A&M win out, or if Tennessee and Texas win out, you'll have two one-loss teams. But other than that, you're going to have a two-loss team in there.
Welcome to the new SEC. It's the mini NFL.
Yep.
Alabama went to Tiger Stadium at night. They brought back a live tiger, even though it wasn't Mike the Tiger. That was so weird.
Yeah. It's
Guess that
impossible.
governor just really wanted a tiger on the sideline. Strange, but the live tiger on the sideline did not help, Ted.
No.
That was another beatdown, 42-13, and it wasn't even that close. Jalen Milroe I think he's healthy. I think he's good. They could not stop him as a runner.
No.
And he's a special athlete. There's just no there's the guy's a freak. But when you think about you go back 2 weeks and how things unraveled for LSU against A&M because they could not defend Marcel Reed as a runner. And you have 2 weeks to prepare for Jalen Milroe after you just got carved up by QB run game. And you go out there and you put that on the field. I have to assume LSU fans are not pleased with Brian Kelly.
I hope there's some light bulbs going off for that LSU game for Oklahoma. I mean, Milroe, and I'm not clearly we don't have Milroe on our football team, but 12 carries for 185 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, the best thing going for LSU is that the football field's only 100 yards long. Right?
Touchdown runs of 39, 10, 19, and 72.
A third of his carries were touchdowns.
Bama ran for 311 and 6 rushing touchdowns. That'll do.
There's getting beat. I mean, I've always said this, like you can play some teams that throw the football a lot and you get beat and you come down and you sit at your locker after the game and it's like, what happened? And then there's games like this where they run the ball 48 times for 311. You come down and you sit in front of your locker and you know you got your ass beat. There's no like what happened out there. You are beat and battered, bloody, muddy, and like that's the worst way to lose a football game.
Bama set the tone early, too. First 2 drives, 8 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. 15 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. Just came right out and punched him in the face. And Alabama's defense has gotten quite a bit of criticism this year. I thought they were really good in this game. LSU's run game was non-existent. I think they ended up with 104 yards. 45 of those came on a Caden Durham carry on the first drive of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, they just completely shut it off the rest of the game. And then, Ted, Garrett Nussmeier did what Garrett Nussmeier does. He made mistakes with the football.
Well, hey, that's what getting a big lead does. Whenever you can get out in front of a team where they've got a player that is prone to make mistakes and you can make them one-dimensional and you can really put them in a corner and you know what they're going to try and do. You could dial up pressures. You could change coverages. You got the entire playbook to your advantage. That's whenever you can really step on people. And that's the benefit our defense has not had one time this year. Never.
Bama has looked like the best team in the country for a couple of stretches this year. You think back to the first half against Georgia. Whoa. Some stretches of this game where defense is flying around. Nussmeier's making mistakes. That pick in the end zone that was the game. It looked like, hey, they'll cut it to a one-score game here. Nope, pick in the end zone. All right, this one's over. But I just I think Bama at its best is the best team in the country.
Which back to our point from a moment ago, this is a two-loss team. Lost at Vanderbilt and at Tennessee. So, I mean, it's the season is different.
I can't believe bringing the live tiger back on the sideline didn't work.
You can't bring an imposter, man. You can't fake it.
It's a
You
fake
ever
mic.
see like OU's just going to bring some random ponies to go pulling the what you call around the I can't even think of what it's
You
called.
can't think of what the Sooner Scooter's called right now. That's where we are mentally, people. Ted Lehman, a man that has dedicated his life to Oklahoma football, can't even think of what the Schooner's called. This team is breaking us.
I was thinking wagon, but because unhitch the wagon. Which should Toby change that? Does he have to say unhitch the schooner?
Doesn't sound nearly as good.
I know.
The Schooner is a wagon,
Yeah.
but not every wagon's the Schooner. Something to think about,
The
people.
the
Impressive from Alabama.
Alabama's got Mercer at Oklahoma, Auburn. If you're an Alabama fan, you like the way the rest of the schedule looks.
Thanks for putting it nicely, at least.